Death closes all. But something ere the end, some work of noble note, may yet be done, not unbecoming men that strove with gods.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to the 128th episode of the Retrotopia podcast. My name's Alan, and after 2 long years worth of pestering and badgering and bullying, I am finally getting the chance to talk about my beloved Mass Effect. That's right, the guys finally just caved in, really, and decided in order to shut me up, they were going to give me the episode that I desired oh so much. So I'm going to go into great detail about how and why I love this game so much. That being said though, before we get into all of that, I do need to get a few things out of the way, some plugs, we've got our intro to get through and what have you. If you are only interested in the Mass Effect talk, then, well, just hop to the mass relay that is about 25-30 minutes or so down the road, and we'll be about there. I'm going to try and keep this intro fairly tight because, well, we do go off on talking about Mass Effect. I feel like this is going to be one of the longer episodes, so buckle up and enjoy the ride. So, Linktree/Retrotopia, linktr.ee/Retrotopia is where you can find all things Retrotopia. You can find our socials, you can find our TeePublic/Dashery page for all of our juicy merchandise. You can find our Discord, which we always encourage you to join and come and have a chat with us. We're always available. And you can also find our Patreon. Now, our Patreon at the base level is free, and you get access to, obviously, Retrotopia. You get access to our Quick Play mini review series. You get access to Brian and Joe's Retro Bites 15 days early, I believe, still. And you also get to comment, vote in polls, just get involved, and all of that good stuff. That being said, we do also have a $2 tier where you get all of the above. Yeah, I'm doing my best. All of the above, as well as the ability to not only pick a quick play game and throw it at a host of your choice, you also get access to our New Game Plus show, which is more of a modern gaming review show, roughly every month or so, when we can get things to line up, busy jet-setting individuals as we are. We've got a universe to save, but we do our best to get those out to you on time, of course. Now then, something that is available to all Patreons of any tier is our 9-bit banter box, which is undeniably the most culturally elegant part of the show. Alright then, let's take a look in the bag and see what we've got. First up on the box, we've got Brother Retro, who says, what's that? Alamanic. Alrighty. Since you defend Mass Effect to the death, true story, I, sir, would like to take a big steaming poop on it and say that personally, I cannot stand this atrocity of a video game. It's boring, redundant, and frankly puts me straight to sleep whenever I attempt to play it. It gets half a jammy dodger, the smaller half. My God. Now that I have made my stance, I invite you to dump on something I love. So here are 5 things I love to do and invite you to unleash your worst on one of them. Give it to me straight. Okay, so here, and we've got a list. Okay, number 1, spend time with my children and wife. Number 2, buy things at a thrift store and flip them on eBay. Number 3, binge the Retrotopia podcast. Number 4, eat cereal late at night even though I watched my calories all day. And number 5, play guitar until my fingers hurt. So I've got to unleash your worst on one of these options. Well, I'm not gonna take shots at anyone spending time with their wife and child. That sounds wholesome as fuck. So you're safe on that one. Buy things at a thrift store and flip them on eBay. Well, everyone's got to have a hobby. We've all got something. Yeah, okay. We'll skip to number 4 because I already know where I'm going with this. Eat cereal late at night, even though I watch my calories all day. Yeah, everyone's allowed to cheat here and there, and cereal is awesome. I love a bowl of cereal, especially late at night. And play guitar until my fingers hurt, which is brilliant. Again, it's nice to have a hobby. It's good. I think the obvious target there is your binging of the Retrotopia podcast. Brother Retro, what the fuck are you doing with your life, man? I mean, show some class, would you? I mean, the Retrotopia podcast. What a loser. I mean, Jesus. Talk about poor tastes, my good man. But no, I would never seriously mock you, Brother Retro. You're a fine and huge supporter of the show, and we love you over here. So thank you very much. I don't fancy your take on Mass Effect though. You and me might have words at some point. Sharkbite says, would you like to see a Final Fantasy RTS game? I have ideas for one. Would like to hear your thoughts. Sharkbite, yes, that sounds absolutely fantastic. Now, it's not that I'm not the biggest fan of RTS games, I just haven't had a whole lot of experience with them. Although, that being said, I think we've got one coming up on the show. I think we're playing Warcraft 2. That's an RTS game, I think. So that'll be coming up on the show soon. But no, I love the idea. And I think what I would like to see for it is for it to go down the Final Fantasy Dissidia route and have all of the different worlds collide at once. So I think if you had every game sort of heroes as the general of their own army from that world, and all of these different armies coming together and you're fighting against all the other casts from all the other games, I think that could be quite interesting. And obviously the technology and the buildings and magic where applicable all sort of reflect the worlds these characters come from. That could be a lot of fun. I'd play that game. Good idea, Sharkbite. I love it. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious says there is a zombie post-apocalypse and you can choose one celebrity to be by your side. Which celebrity would you pick? I thought this was going to be a difficult question, and then it jumped into my head completely unbidden. There is only one correct choice for this question, and it is Nick Offerman. Because Ron Swanson. I mean, I think Nick Offerman is more or less a real-life Ron Swanson. I don't think the character is too far away from him. I mean, that guy strikes me as the sort of person who would have a plan to survive any situation. He can build boats, he can build cabins, I reckon he could fortify anything, and I reckon he's got a fully stocked bar with all of the finest whiskies. So I could see myself, riding out the zombie apocalypse in a rocking chair next to good old Ron Swanson there, and enjoying some delicious single malt. Yeah, so that's my pick. Philip, my mouth with farts, says, hi Alan, we know that the Switch sold like absolute gangbusters, and when the Switch 2 gets going it will do the same. However, I bet in a large majority of cases the Switch is not the primary console. I know it's not mine, the PS4 and PS5 get way more playtime. My question is, what do you think Nintendo could do to make their consoles the primary console of their owners? Oh, blimey. I mean, good question. I agree with just about everything you say. The Switch is a supplementary console. I mean, in this household, it certainly is as well. And I think it's just because it's that kind of hybrid between a console and a handheld, it fits into that niche, well, both niches quite well. But, it's no secret that the Switch is underpowered compared to the other consoles that are on the market. I don't think that they do. And I don't think that they want to, frankly, because Nintendo consoles have never necessarily been about the power of the console and the bells and the whistles and all the rest of it. They are more affordable than the other ones and get by on the strength of the fact that they have an absolutely outstanding lineup of first-party IPs. So, I mean, would they want to? I mean, you could argue that Xbox is sort of on the way out as far as consoles go, and I know there's the argument either way on that one, but it could happen, which would mean that Nintendo has to sort of swoop into that second place position there, but I don't see them ever going primary console. I suppose they would have to compete for power and get it on a par with something like the PS5, which is a bit of a beast of a console, but do they need to? With the Marios and the Zeldas and things like that. I don't know. You know, it seems like a lot of money invested for something that they don't have to do. I don't know. Good question, though. Good question. Dave McGuinness says, "Good day, sir. You must choose from each of the following. You must choose from each of the following. Jesus Christ, no idea what's wrong with me today. NES or Master System." Okay. That's a toughie. I mean, I know historically I would say Master System, but over the last couple of years playing games for this show, I have played, because I never had an NES back in the day, and it's only sort of as an adult that I've been able to delve into the NES library, and more I'm finding these titles that I've heard of but never played, and they are really showing what that console could do. You know, Batman, Bionic Commando, Contra, or Probotector if you prefer. You know, there's been a lot of games we've played while I've been part of this show that have really... I mean, I would die in the hill that the Master System is, from a technical point of view and colour and what have you, the better console. But I think library-wise, I'm going to have to go for NES, and I feel dirty. Nobody tell Brian about this, all right? Because I will never live that down. Next up is the SNES, the Megasys, or TurboGrafx 16/PC Engine. I have never played a TurboGrafx 16 PC Engine, and is that worth it? You know, I'm a big collector of consoles. Is that something? I know there's a couple of Castlevania games on it that I'd be interested to see how they run. I have no idea what the library is like. So let me know. Is that console something that's worth me taking a look at? Otherwise, no, it's definitely the Mega Drive or Genesis or the Megasys, as we call it, because that console has my heart and my soul. I loved the SNES, don't get me wrong, but the Megasys is the winner for me. And finally, the N64, Saturn, or PS1. I know you think I'm going to go for the Sega Saturn, but again, I'm going to buck the trend and go for the PS1, because that's the console that I spent so many hours playing in my sort of youth and teenage years. All those many hours spent on Final Fantasy games, Resident Evil, Silent Hill, God knows what else. So I just have, even though the Sega Saturn did have a massive place in my heart back in the day, and I would carry that thing around me wherever I went, but the PS1 I just invested so much more time on. Fantastic library. Thank you, Dave. H says, "Hey Alan, I recently got together with every Sonic game I could find, and I'm planning to start playing through them from Mega Drive to Dreamcast. What highlights can I expect from the Blue Hedgehog?" I would argue that just listen, I put in my Sonic bias aside because I like a lot more of the Sonic the Hedgehog library than most people do. Obviously Sonic 1, 2, 3 and Knuckles, absolutely flawless. I say trilogy of games because I lump Sonic 3 and Knuckles together. If you're not playing them together, you're doing it wrong. But yes, that is just an absolutely stellar collection of games there on the Mega Drive. You can't go wrong with that. I mean, I can't really argue for things like Sonic Spinball or Sonic 3D on the Mega Drive. I mean, they're fun, but they change up the game mechanics so much that it's not for everyone. I'll give you that. The Dreamcast has obviously got the Sonic Adventure games 1 and 2, which I absolutely adore. As far as taking Sonic to 3D, which he's not always done all that well in, I think they are fantastic games. What I would say is don't count the Master System out if you can get hold of. I think a lot of those games show up on collections like Sonic Origins Plus collection and things like that. You can find quite a few of the Master System games, and they are really, really good as well. So I would not count those out. See if you can't slip a couple of those into your list there. Sonic Chaos, Sonic 1 and 2. I can't remember what the last one was called now. No, anyway, it's gone from my head. But yeah, check it out. And then finally, the big deal. And I'm going to have a sip of water here. Goodness me. The big deal says, "Now that we've heard your Arnold impression, what other celebrity impressions can you do?" I didn't even know I could do the Arnold impression, if I'm completely honest with you, the big deal. It's going to be a very boring answer because I don't really do that many impressions. I mean, listen, I know everyone has tried an Arnold Schwarzenegger at one time in their life, and, most of us can get pretty close. I'd never actually tried talking as Arnie for that long, and I think it kind of held together well enough, but it wobbles in places, but you know, I appreciate the feedback on that. I mean, when it comes to doing silly voices, as I so often do on the internet, I mean, I do try, I take inspiration from people and characters and what have you. And like when I was doing the audiobook, Half Made Up, available on Audible. Go check it out, shameless plug. A lot of the voices were kind of inspired by people, but kind of adapted. And I've, for the most part, I've always sort of considered that I struggled at first because I thought I could never be a voice actor because I can't do impressions of people. But then I realised, well, it's not really what it's all about. I mean, that's part of it, sure, but a lot of it is coming up with your own voices, which, as I say, I shamelessly plagiarise. But yeah, I mean, I suppose back in the day I used to do a fairly convincing Michael Caine. I don't know if I could do it now. I'm not sure if I could do it now. But this is kind of a Michael Caine. You gotta get very nasal and talk very slowly. And that's sort of your Michael Caine. You see what I mean? It's just absolutely fucking terrible. So yeah, I don't really do a lot of celebrity impressions. But the important thing is when you're doing any kind of voice, any kind of silly voice or impression, is just to fucking do it. Don't give a shit what anyone else thinks. Just do the thing, do the voice. And never be afraid of looking like an idiot, because if I was worried about that, I wouldn't be here. Alright, that wraps it up for the 9-Bit Banter Box. Thanks as always for writing in, guys. Good batch of questions this week, as they always are, but we're going to move along. I did say I was going to try and keep this tight, and I'm failing spectacularly. But we're going to move on now to our game show, Choose One, Lose One, and I'm going to pick some renegade choices for this. Ladies and gentlemen, roll up and choose your power-up from the game of the week. You pick a power, we pick a consequence. It's Choose One, Lose One, the game where everyone's a loser. Alright, let's see what we got going on Choose One, Lose One. And Brother Retro is at it again. I choose to never have this game made so that all you freaks who like it will spend your time enjoying something worthwhile. Oh, Brother Retro. Done, you can have your wish, but now you have taken a good deal of my fondest memories, and I am now a shell of my former self. I'm probably not even podcasting anymore because life has no meaning, so this punishment is not for you. This punishment is for me. Brother Retro, you have ruined my life, and I hope you're proud of yourself. Chris Kaplane says, I want the ability to make humdrum choices that appear to have grave, cataclysmically altering consequences for the galaxy, but really come down to making a choice between 3 flavours of slushy. Alrighty, done. So now the choices in your life that seem to have huge ramifications lead to, as you say, humdrum results. But the problem with that is now the everyday, day-to-day choices that you have to make that just don't seem like anything at all, now they have cataclysmic results. So every time you sort of decide what pair of socks to wear in the morning, something absolutely devastating happens. Every time you decide what breakfast to eat in the morning, your house collapses or something like that. So you have now flipped the script. So good luck. Fallen Snow Kiku says, can I have the ability to skip something I don't want to do by paying gel? Absolutely you can. Good old Omnigel. You can now you can have your Omnigel, but you could become so addicted to skipping those boring day-to-day jobs that you're in constant need of Omnigel. And just like in Mass Effect, you now start breaking down all of your earthly possessions to make more Omnigel. So you end up with nothing. But you still have your Omnigel, so you can keep on skipping if you like. Philip My Mouth with Fart says, having biotic powers, moving things out of the way, slamming people who want to hurt you, all of that fun stuff. That's an easy one. Well, you're an L2 biotic from Mass Effect, and those L2 implants just give you constant migraines and a variety of other undisclosed symptoms because they were very experimental implants at the time. So I don't know. You get migraines all the time, and every once in a while, when you use your Bartic powers, you're going to shit yourself because we haven't done that one in a while, and I miss it. H says, I'll take Garrus as my best friend / right-hand man in life. No one's messing with me with that badass motherfucker by my side. Oh, H. This is by far and away the hardest one I've ever had to ruin because I see absolutely no downsides to having Garrus as your best friend. Because Garrus is my boy. So how the hell am I going to ruin this one for you? All right, you know what? If we go by Garrus from Mass Effect 1, he's kind of a hothead. Actually, he's kind of a hothead throughout the entire series. So I'm going to go with, yes, you are best friends with Garrus, but every time you two go out, you are always getting into a fight with someone. So it ruins all of your evening plans, and you both end up in prison. And that is the best that's the hardest one I've ever had to do, seriously. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious says, I have not played this game, so I asked AI for help. For the Mass Effect episode of Retrotopia, I'd choose the Omni tool because its ability to instantly fabricate tools, translate languages, and repair electronics would eliminate almost every daily inconvenience. This versatile wrist device transforms mundane tasks like fixing a leaky faucet or navigating a foreign city into effortless operations. Ultimately, it offers the perfect blend of practical utility and futuristic convenience to conquer a dull, mortal existence rather. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. In the Mass Effect universe, AIs are actually illegal. So you've turned to an AI for help for this question. So you have broken the law, and CSEC are after you now. And yeah, you're going to end up in prison next to H and Garrus. So well done. And finally, Radmac said, choosing alien sex no matter the consequences. Do your worst. It's Rex. You're going to have sex with Rex. There's no chance you're surviving that, mate. In fact, any Krogan, male or female, that's the alien sex that you're going to have. Oh, Jesus. Let me know when you get out of intensive care. All right. That's it for Choose One, Lose One. Thanks for playing, guys. As always, we're going to try and make up some time here as I do a little bit of that silly voice acting in the Gentleman's Interlude. Mass Effect is no mere diversion. It is a grand operatic science fiction epic, crafted by the esteemed BioWare and published under the Microsoft Game Studios banner. First unveiled on November 20th, 2007 for the Xbox 360, it later graced PC on May 28th, 2008, before being reborn in 2021 within the Legendary Edition, polished for a new era of players. You assume the mantle of Commander Shepard, a name destined to echo across the stars. Humanity stands on the precipice of greatness, newly admitted into a vast galactic community teeming with ancient powers, uneasy alliances, and secrets that slumber in the dark between worlds. This is not a stage for the timid. It is a theater of consequence, where every word is measured, every decision reverberates, and every alliance may prove salvation or ruin. Combat unfolds with a deliberate intensity, a symphony of gunfire, biotic force, and tactical command. You are not a mere soldier, but a leader of distinction. Your squad looks to you not only for orders, but for conviction. Will you act with composed restraint or decisive ruthlessness? The galaxy will remember. Yet it is in conversation, in the quiet, dangerous art of diplomacy that Mass Effect reveals its true sophistication. Here, a gentleman's resolve is tested. You will charm, intimidate, negotiate, and, when necessary, draw a line that cannot be uncrossed. The narrative bends to your will, sculpted by choices that carry forward with a weight rarely seen in the medium. Beneath it all lies a creeping dread, an ancient threat, patient and inevitable, stirring beyond the edges of known space. As Shepard, you do not merely fight for victory, you stand as the last resolute bulwark against extinction itself. All right, I tell you what, it's been a while since I've just done the gentleman in the gentleman's interlude. That took me back. I should dust him off more often. Anyway, before we get into talking about Mass Effect, which is what you're all here for, we want to know what you think of the game. So, David Hendley said, I just recently started up this franchise and I'm almost at the end of the first game, hoping to finish up before this episode comes out. That said, I am loving the characters, the story, and can't wait to get on to the second and third game of the trilogy. Excited to hear what you guys say about it. Oh, don't worry, you're about to find out, David. Hooli, the Destructor, said, I love this game. It's a really hard one to recommend nowadays, though, because the mechanics haven't quite aged well and the gameplay can be a little slow at the start. That being said, anyone who hasn't played this definitely should give it a shot. You won't be disappointed. Could not agree with you more. H said, I have some great memories of having quite a lot of time off one Christmas during the COVID times and played through all three. I played the first two when they first came out and loved them back then. I enjoy the characters, the story development, even their little combos in everyone's favourite elevator scenes. I love those too. My only gripe was that I feel like to get the most benefit, you either had to be full Paragon or Renegade, not an in-between. Actually, H, we do touch on that in the episode, so that is a very good point, and we do address it. Philip, my mouth with farts, said, this is a hard one. Is it a bad game? Absolutely not. Great story, great characters, and an enjoyable time. But it was also a game that needed to be made so they could figure out what worked and what didn't and could perfect things when Mass Effect 2 came along. Love this game and think it should be played by anyone wanting to play the series, but it does need to be endured. It's like the vegetables part of a steak dinner. It's good for you, but not the best part. Okay, that's an interesting take. I don't know if I agree with all of that, Philip, but I respect it. Fallen Snow Kiku said, I think this is the game that solidified both my love for RPGs and games with great immersive stories. When it came out, I was 12. Oh god, I'm old. And quickly became obsessed. I couldn't get enough of the world and characters and beat the whole thing in record time. I played it again recently as part of the remaster, and while the gameplay doesn't quite hold up as good as it used to, I still think it and its sequels, not Andromeda, which is my second most hated game of all time, are masterpieces. Weakest of the trilogy, but when that trilogy is as good as Mass Effect, that's not a bad thing. You really hated Andromeda. I know Andromeda got a lot of hate. I actually quite like Andromeda. I mean, it doesn't stack up against the trilogy, of course, but I still had a good time with it. But that being said, I haven't played it since it came out, so maybe I should give it another crack and see how it's held up. Chris Kaplane said, start of the best trilogy in gaming of all time. The original was a fun romp of a space opera RPG that once I got into, I couldn't put down. Today it's overshadowed by its sequels in terms of quality, but this leaning more into its RPG mechanics is something I'll appreciate a little more. Agreed. Brother Retro. Sorry, I'm rushing through these because I'm aware that I have overcooked this intro by quite a bit. Brother Retro, loud and proud despiser of this series and all the games like it. Am I being overly harsh for the sake of reaction? Of course I am. Do I really hate the game as much as I say I do? Of course I do. Either way, I'm excited to hear people I love talk about things they love. So get on with it, you big lush. Brother Retro, I've never met anyone who had that much hatred for Mass Effect. This is a new experience for me. I'm gonna have to pick your brain at some point and just we're gonna have to have a discussion about why, because I respect it. I respect your opinion. Listen, you like what you like and you hate what you hate, and all opinions are welcome here at Retrotopia. But I am interested to find out why you hate it so much. And finally, Randy Berridge says the foundational game for probably the best trilogy in all of gaming. I only played this within the past 2 years, and even with no nostalgia, I found this game still holds up. This game still holds up. The sequels easily rank high on my favorite games of all time list. I was really taken with the world building, the characters, and the story. My biggest gripes with this game was the planet exploration with the Mako and the convoluted inventory system. They streamlined both of these things in future games, which made it much more enjoyable. I also think the DLC missions were less memorable than ME2 and ME3, but that's an unfair comparison as those are some of the best DLC missions ever. True, true. I'm really excited to hear you all talk about this game. I think this is such a fantastic series. I would lay down my life for Garrus. Big shout out to Alan for being my sage of wisdom through the series. Getting to share a beer in person and gush about this game together is a great memory I hold. We hold the line. Yes, Randy agreed, absolutely, and yes, the beer that we shared in person, no less, to talk about Mass Effect and what have it was spectacular. Let's do it again sometime. But before we do, in the meantime, we're going to talk about a little game called Mass Effect. So thanks everyone, guys, for writing in as always. We love your interactions; it's so much fun, and this has been a great time. So hopefully you enjoy the episode as much as we did recording it. So fill up your pockets with sweet, sweet Omni Gel and prepare to climb aboard one of the greatest spaceships ever made in science fiction, and I will die on that hill as we discuss Mass Effect, released for the Xbox 360 in November 20th, 2007. Thanks for listening, guys. Enjoy the show. Alright, and we are back, and all of my Christmases and birthdays and everything like that have come at once because we are talking a little bit of Mass Effect. My name's Commander Alan, and with me today are two members of the SSV Retrotopia who, by the end of the episode, I'm going to do my best to try and bang. Brian, Sam, how you doing, guys?
Well, I
thought you were gonna.
You've already made some points on
Nice,
that one.
nice.
I thought you were gonna say you're gonna have to decide which one lives and which one dies.
That actually would have been better.
It depends. It depends. No, I know, because I kind of want to keep both of you around. I've grown quite attached to you.
At least bang us first.
Exactly. Exactly.
Right.
There is a very specific order of operations here.
Chain of command. Chain of command. How you doing, guys? You good?
Doing good.
Yeah, and I can't complain. It was 20 degrees yesterday. It was 1 degree today, and by Friday it's supposed to be 20 degrees again. They can't make up its fucking mind.
Oh, that Canadian weather. You just can't predict it.
You
really can't. This year has been fucked.
Yeah, it's been weird here too. Anyways, Mass Effect.
Tell you what you can predict, my love for this game. I'm just gonna.
Oh, sorry, I was talking about the weather because it was more interesting than this game.
Oh, you son of a bitch! For those who aren't privy to our private conversations, as many of you are not, or the After Darks, which some of you listen to, Brian has been constantly up my arse about Mass Effect because you know my undying love for this game, and I think you just want to get me all hot and bothered for this episode, frankly, and it's working spectacularly because I'm just gonna come out hard and fast and just say this game is spectacular. I'm not gonna hide anything. I'm just gonna wear my review on my sleeve. I know my history with the game. I played this back in the Xbox 360 days, probably not far off its release in 2007. And a friend of mine who, knows what I like video game wise just said, here, check this out. It's a bit like Knights of the Old Republic. I was like, sweet, okay, I'll give this a go. And I fell in love. I've played it This is probably my Chrono Trigger, Brian, if I'm honest. That's just that game that you'll play every couple of years or so, just go for another run and just love it like it's new.
Yes, every couple of years. I'm currently not playing Chrono Trigger again on my phone.
Well, when are you not? Do you have any history with this game, Brian?
No. This is my first playthrough of the game, and I will reserve my thoughts for throughout the episode about what I feel about it. And the reason I didn't jump on the Mass Effect bandwagon wasn't because, oh my god, it's not my precious turn-based RPG. It's because it was a space shooter, and I was just not into space shooters at the time, and I looked at this game, and everybody hyped it, and then it got to that point where I felt it was overhyped, so it could never live up to the expectations I've built in my head over this game. So I kind of just let it, disappear from my memory there. And of course I keep seeing the Legendary Edition and stuff like that, and everybody says you got to play this game. So why not? We have a podcast. People like listening to podcast stuff. People like listening to opinions, I guess. And then commenting their own.
I've basically been pestering you for the better part of like 2 or 3 years now to cover this game. So frankly, he's doing it to shut me up.
Yeah, I started this game like 10 weeks ago thinking it was going to be a slog for me to get through before we recorded today. And I ended up finishing it in about a week and a half, which, considering I didn't do a lot of the side quest stuff, so I'm not going to have a lot to say on that, but normally finishing a game in a week and a half is a good sign for a game.
Yeah,
normally.
I think this game is a lot shorter than even because I do all the side stuff. And I do like explore every nook and cranny of the galaxy. And even with all that going on, it's not the longest game in the world. There's a good amount of content there. But it is surprisingly short when you're just looking at the main missions. But I think that's where the game kind of wants to encourage you towards all of that side content. And just to explore this wonderful galaxy that they've created.
You're out to save the universe, not have fun.
True enough, but it would be a crime not to explore this wonderful universe they've created. Sam, what about you, buddy?
Yes, sir. I have not played this. My history is I downloaded it on Steam earlier this year and figured out a way to get into EA, and because EA's got their greasy paws all over this game now. But yeah, no, I'd always heard that it was good, and I played KOTOR, and I didn't love it the first time I played it, KOTOR that is, and this is, very similar, I guess, in style as far as, like traveling around in the ship and the way you can talk to people and explore environments and stuff, but I love the combat. I thought, like that was something that I wasn't expecting. When I heard people say it was like KOTOR, I thought it was going to be kind of that, like, Dungeons and Dragons style, like dice roll in the background, roll to hit type thing. Cause that's really what's going on in the background of KOTOR.
100%.
But this is like the perfect mix of like an active RPG and a shooter. Cause like the way that the weapons overheat or you've got cooldown on certain things, but you can still kind of like actively run around and fight is very, very neat. So, no history, but pretty cool game if I say so. And real quick up top, I have not finished it yet because I did not have time, but I'm probably more than halfway through at this point.
I know
really enjoying it.
So, you are not far from the end, knowing exactly where you are in this game. Like you are
cool.
You are one end game away from finishing this game. Because like I say, there aren't that many main missions in this game, but this is going to be fun because obviously I've got a rich and storied history with this one. You guys have never played it before, so it's going to be nice to have an opinion, somebody seeing it fresh. This is going to be good. And where to begin? Like I said, I mean, as I said in the After Dark there, I rarely plan for episodes because I'm a bit of an idiot and I'm not very good at this. But I have actually got a skeleton, at least, of a plan for this one. That's how much I care about Mass Effect. So I do want to talk a little bit about the premise of the game, not necessarily the story. We'll save that towards a bit later on. But just to sort of set the table, as it were, for sort of what's going on. And I'm not going to dump this on anyone else because that would be unfair, and I kind of want to splurge. So it's 2138. And humanity has taken to the stars, having found, I guess, the remnants of an ancient spacefaring race that led them to the Mass Effect relays, which are a network of, I guess you kind of think of them as jump gates, which take them around the galaxy, which brings them sort of into the galactic community as a whole, and all the trials and tribulations therein. And while on a shakedown run of the new SSV Normandy, which we'll talk about later on, our Commander Shepard, and he really is your Commander Shepard, which is one of the things I love so much about this series. Just the choice and the sort of character building is very much down to you yourself and your decisions. You are basically being assessed to join the Galactic Council's Special Forces and Tactics. I can't remember what Spectre stands for now. That's embarrassing. And while on a mission to Eden Prime to, I guess, fetch this Prothean beacon, which is basically a remnant of this ancient spacefaring race that went completely extinct for reasons, it all goes a bit tits up. And thus, a race against time to save the galaxy from an impending doom begins, without giving too much away.
So, Alan,
go on, Brian.
Wait, what year did the game take place in?
2138, I think, wasn't it?
2183, noob. Favorite game I have.
21. All right, well, a bit of numerical. A little bit of numerical dyslexia there can be forgiven. Numbers were never my forte.
I know more about Mass Effect.
Oh, he is. That is it. This is the slow death of Retrotopia now, because he is never going to let me live that down. But yeah, what did you guys sort of think of kind of the premise and kind of the world that they created, that BioWare created for this game?
It just like was so immersive. You know, like you start off on the ship, right?
Uh-huh.
I almost can't remember back to when I first started playing it, but like obviously you start off in the ship and you do that first mission, you come back and then you end up in I think it's called the Citadel, right? That's kind of hub world, or kind of like the place where you is your home base more or less. And it's like, wow, they really do a lot of world building with different races, and you know, there's not a ton of different alien races, but there are enough to make things interesting, and they're all kind of cohabitating this citadel. There's like a council, and you can tell right away that like humanity is like the new kids on the block, and they're not fully accepted by everyone. So there's a lot of kind of cool intrigue that way too, because I think Shepard is the first human Spectre agent, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
Yeah.
I found the reveal of what's his name? I had his name in my head a second ago. The guy who turns out to be the bad guy, the other Spectre.
Saren Arterius.
Saren, thank you. I found like that whole thing almost felt not explored enough by the time they did the whole reveal that he was actually like betraying people. I really wish they kind of spent a little bit more time introducing you to who Saren was, because you know, he's a Spectre. You expect him to be a good guy. He's well revered within the council, but you see him betraying his buddy there, and then from there you don't really know his exploits as a hero. I really wish they actually made Saren kind of portray Shepard as opposed to that other whatever race that
Turian.
is. Yeah, it would have, for me, that would have been a little bit better to see him as a good guy before he betrays you, and it might have made it a little more personal for me. But outside of that, the rest of the story it's actually really good. I really enjoyed the story of this game. It was the beginning that was the hardest part to get through for me, but that's like most games, because they have to do that Act 1 build-up until a problem happens.
Yeah, that's true. And I kind of I see your point, and in certain ways I agree, and in others I disagree, because obviously the Spectres are an elite and very secretive group, so it kind of makes sense that you know very little about Saren before you're actually inducted into this group, and that he's already fully sort of implementing his grand scheme, and that then puts you on the back foot for the rest of the game. So I think it works as a sort of an immediate driving force behind the story. But I can forgive wanting to know more about a character like that, and they have explored it more in books and things like, and supplementary sort of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm playing a video game, I don't want to have to read like a nerd in order to learn more of the story. But I just honestly think, like, had they had Saren show up and be like, I'll be the advanced party because I'm in the Spectres, you'd be like, yeah, fuck yeah, that guy rocks. And then at the end of the mission, he betrays you. It would have been more like, dick. And then, I don't know, it's like I said, it's a minor detail of the story. I still like how it turned out, but I just really didn't feel they built up Saren as this good guy before they turned him into a bad guy. He was always the bad guy to me, so Spectre or not, I don't see him as any sort of good person. Like, he's never done anything good in my eyes.
That's kind of the point of the character, you see. I mean, in talking to Captain Anderson, and I know we're already going way off base here, but Captain Anderson details like his history with Saren and just how much of a fucking bastard this guy is. Like, he will literally do anything, kill anyone to get the job done. This was never a nice guy. This was always a ruthless, cutthroat prick.
Even so, they could have still showcased him as on the same side as Shepard in that before they turned him into the bad guy.
That's fair enough.
Because that's all it is when they get to the end of that mission, it's just Saren's killing that other goth, whatever. And fuck it, I can't remember the races, all right? It's been a while since I played the game,
we'll get into the races.
I'm leaning on you guys to correct me on the races. Anyways, nevertheless.
Which one is the dude, the big dude? Sorry, not to derail you. Rex. What is Rex? Krogan. That's the one. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry.
All right, my train of thought is...
oh, fuck. I'm sorry.
But yeah, no, it's a valid point. What do you reckon, Sam?
Yeah, it is. I mean, they kind of just fly out the gate with Saren being, the bad guy. But... I think they do that in order to set up you go back to the Citadel and the Council is like, well, there's no proof and he's this upstanding dude. And it's like, are you kidding me? Look at this guy. Looks evil as shit. He's like half made out of machine and he's clearly the bad guy. Actually, are you kidding?
He might as well have a neon signpost.
Right.
Yeah, the Council was actually one of my favorite parts of the game because they were so political. It actually felt realistic.
Yeah.
Because it was just literally, we will do nothing unless we have the opportunity to do nothing else.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. Very, a little bit close to home, really.
Yeah, right.
It almost reminded...
It's like, oh, yeah, the humans are the old ones? How come you're acting like all of our politicians on this planet?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead,
It kind of reminded me of just like the over the top kind of I don't want to say generic because it does have its own style, but like the kind of like generic futuristic looking sci-fi of it kind of reminded me of like Rick and Morty when they're in like the Council of Ricks. Like the
I haven't watched
in between dimensions.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's the Citadel is the Council of Ricks.
See that.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I mean that.
Thanks, Sam.
That does actually like tie in quite nicely to like the visuals and what I wanted to talk about, like the actual feel of this universe. Because what was very kind of common at the time is that dystopian kind of everything's brown and grey kind of Gears of War future. And what I really love about Mass Effect is that it paints an almost 1970s, 90s, 1980s view of what the future would be. Everything's very slick and clean, and everyone's in these kind of cheesy uniforms and what have you, and I like it's that idealized view of what the future would look like sort of 30-40 years ago.
Yeah, I do appreciate like a nice clean looking future every now and then instead of just a nasty like RoboCop looking future. It's like we're gonna have technology, but only some people are gonna have technology. I mean, let's be honest. Like that's the way we're headed, is the gritty, dirty looking future, and not the nice,
Sure.
cool
Yep.
future. But
Yeah.
so maybe that's why I like it more, is because it's like, yeah, this is the idealized version of what the future could be, rather than what we're getting.
Yeah,
I
100%.
do like the community inside of the Citadel. I like how it feels alive, in much as you could have on a DVD, which housed only so much storage. You walked around and there's always something going on. There's people walking. I'd love to see what they could do with like today's technology and make these people more living, because a lot of them were just stationary or had like a small area of movement on them. But it still made the Citadel feel like a home, like a community, like a city almost.
Yeah.
So that was really well done. And like you said, the clean, futuristic, 90-degree corners and white and blues and all that stuff that makes you feel happy was present here. And it really did add to the aesthetic of the entire Citadel itself.
100%. It's more a sort of Star Trek future than a Star Wars future.
Exactly.
Yes.
In point of fact, the whole game sort of gives me Babylon 5 vibes. You know, that one central hub of galactic community. And basically, now that I'm thinking about it, like the whole plot of the game is more or less Babylon 5, which is probably why I love it so much, because that series fucks. But yeah, I think they did an incredible job of making, like you said, Brian, making the Citadel feel bustling and feel alive, but also sort of giving everything personality and making everything feel like it was sort of a mesh of all of these different council races coming together. And it's really well reflected in how those races all feel true, if that makes sense. You know, they make sense. You know, all the different council races are kind of explained, and it makes sense why they are the way that they are, which just I think is fantastic world building.
Yeah, and they all have
It
all
is.
have prejudices against each other too, a little bit, right? Like, because aren't the
Sure.
Krogans kind of like, there was at one point like the Krogans were conquerors, were very warlike, and
Yep,
I
yep.
don't know the whole backstory of it. I'm sure it's all in the books and things, but like, there's one point, I don't know. Well, we're gonna spoil things, right? Like I will be spoiled by the end of this too. So, yeah, so I'm not too worried about it. But like, there's one point where you're talking about, how Saren is weaponizing Krogans, and then you've got a Krogan on your team. And so then I had to talk that guy down and stuff like that. So it's like there is like this, yeah, just interspecies prejudices and stuff, not just towards humans. So it's kind of cool to see how they all interact.
The Krogan were basically sterilized because of their
Right.
exploding population, and
they're just
Yeah,
they were just
genophage.
fucking like rabbits.
Yeah, it's basically, and and they're not very happy with the Solarians about it. But obviously, I know we're throwing a lot of terms around. We will sort of touch on the different races and the different characters, because there's a lot of them to love here. But I want to talk a little bit, while we're talking sort of the actual gameplay and the gameplay mechanics itself. Sam, you touched on it earlier about sort of being a space shooter. I mean,
Yeah.
It is an RPG and it isn't. Like, how did you feel it played?
I mean, I thought it's relatively smooth. I mean, it takes a bit to get used to at first, because it's like it throws a lot at you, and I think at the time, when did this come out? 2007.
Mm-hmm.
You probably had a pretty thick game manual inside that game case. The game doesn't really hold your hand too much as far as like, this is how you equip a weapon, and this is how there's not a lot of tutorials, so I had to kind of learn as I went. And then I finally realized that I could swap weapons and re-equip stuff and equip upgrades, and once I really figured that out, like, then I was rolling, and I was like, this is a ton of fun. It's basically like kind of a cover shooter, third person cover shooter, which is a fun genre. It's a genre that I like, plus the RPG elements. Like I said, you're I don't know, if you hold down the trigger on your assault rifle, it will overheat very quickly, and so that's kind of incorporates a bit of like a not turn based, but like a cooldown mechanic that limits your attacks, so you have to strategize more and
get tactical.
Yeah, and also your weapons do a range of damage instead of just doing flat out damage. Like there's some depth to it and a little bit of variance that comes along with an RPG, obviously, and so your loadout and your stats and everything will influence how effective you are. And by the time I figured that out, now like when I go back to play it, I have this assault rifle that has, I don't know what kind of fucking upgrade, but like it's like incendiary rounds and some sort of like anti-kickback mechanism that prevents overheating and like some other thing. So it's like basically the Geth soldier, like your typical Geth soldier is almost like a one-hit kill at this point, and it's really satisfying to just go rip it up with the assault rifle. It rarely overheats too. So yeah, there's a lot of different like tinkering that you can do with your loadout.
Sure. And there are items everywhere in this game. You are never short of like upgrades and things you can attach to your weapons and stuff like that. I mean,
I've actually not bought anything at any of the like vendors that are like sprinkled around different areas, because like I just keep finding stuff and I'm like, I don't know, I got like 500,000 monies and then also like a full inventory of shit. So I'm good.
I mean, the only things that I was buying were like health kit upgrades and not grenade upgrades, but and when the Spectre weapons become available at the CSEC on the Citadel, I was just loading up on Spectre weapons because those things do a ton of damage. But yeah, like you could really customize your loadout to your desire. I don't know, maybe not your traditional RPG, Brian, but
yeah, and I don't know, it made me kind of question what is an RPG. Obviously, you're taking on the role of somebody, in this case, Commander Shepard. But at first, it felt very on the side of being a shooter. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't get that out of my head. And I kept thinking, like, what really makes this an RPG? And then I started thinking about it, the branching storyline with your dialogue choices. And obviously you're going to level up and you can increase your stats and your weapon stats and stuff like that. And I started getting on board with it. And it wasn't that I was like trying to shit on the game at the time. It's just I was kind of thinking philosophically when I really didn't have to. I think the thing that takes me out of the whole RPG mindset is the shooter game. So when you are traversing the lands, you are playing a shooter, but at the same time, you're almost locked into a path most of the times. Like you have a certain direction it's going to force you to go. You can fall off stuff, but not often do you get multiple routes to get to a location. Like if you look at that mine you find the scientist in, what's her name?
Liara,
yeah. You look at that one. It is very linear, even though it looks like it's wide open. So that's also what made me, kind of realize it's very RPG-ish. Overall,
I think there's...
I get why it's an RPG. I understand that the shooting just makes it an action RPG overall. I did enjoy, like Sam said, upgrading my weapon. I also didn't buy anything. Actually, I don't even think I bought the Spectre weapons or anything from the Spectre people. I just equipped what I found, and it seemed to be good enough. And other than that, it was just take cover and shoot until you win.
Yeah, because the item drops do tend to level up with you as well. So you're constantly finding weapons that are suitable to your level, which is nice. And, simply just look for the thing that has better stats than what you've got, equip it.
Yeah,
and,
that's pretty much how it
went.
Right?
And you're off to the races. And I agree that some of those story areas, I mean, they had some side stuff to do for the most part, but, there is some linearity to...
Oh, there's no problem with it being linear. It's just that's one of the aspects that made me think of more RPG rather than open shooter.
No, I completely... But what I wanted to say, I wanted to contrast it with some of the other planets that you go to. the ones that you fully explore with the Mako. I mean, because that's a very
Let's get into the Mako next.
go. You got some stuff to say about the Mako?
I dislike the controls of the Mako.
Is that the
I
truck?
hate pushing up to go
Yeah.
forward. Yeah.
Oh.
And trying to aim while you shoot and you're holding up and you're trying to turn with the stick. Just give me a fucking pedal.
Yeah, the turret fucks your
Make the old
directions. It's really funny.
Yeah, just make the R2 button the pedal and let me turn the turret, with the fucking... Oh, God. It annoys me. Then they have a whole mission where you have to use it for the whole fucking mission. And I did do one side mission planet because I wasn't exactly sure how the story unfolded at the time. And I landed on this planet and I had to fight this giant, like, worm, or I think it was worm, or
Yeah.
something that comes up from the ground.
Threshamore.
And
Yeah.
God knew you'd know the name of it, but I had to fight that, and it took me like 6 attempts because I couldn't get the fucking stupid vehicle to do what I wanted. And you have those jets to make a jump, and then you have the boost to go forward, and the thing would just hit me like it was nothing. I used it as kind of a way to learn how to drive in that thing, but by the end of the game, I still was running into walls and stuff because it just controls so poorly.
I mean,
There,
I'm not gonna argue with that. I mean, the problem is that I don't have the benefit of having played it for the first time, and I'm sure back when I first ever played this game, I probably agreed with you, but it's just been, I'm so used to the controls for the Mako now, it does not bother. But I can see how, especially over some of that terrain you need to traverse, I mean, it can be a pain in the arse to climb mountains to get to your next objective, because those planets are completely, for the most part, optional. And you're literally put in this great big square of map, and you can drive around to your heart's content, investigating anomalies on the map, looking for resources on there, just collecting things that may or may not be useful later on. And, it's a fun little sandbox to drive around in. And it's something that it's only in the first game. And
really? That's a bummer.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the planet scanning in future games is literally like sending out probes and whatnot. But I've got a soft spot for the Mako. I like that little thing.
It is a little tough to get used to at first, but once I kind of did I did that Thresher Maw mission first, which is maybe not the easiest one because that thing had a lot of health, and I didn't really quite understand all the controls. So I found that secondary weapon, which has kind of a longer cooldown, and I would just kind of like draw it out, pop it a couple times, do a lap, like repeat.
Yeah.
And that's how I ended up beating it. But then future missions with that, and it's a great way to pick up XP. And that thing is a tank. Like, yeah, little guys are like shooting at you, but they're pretty fucking useless against it. The only real threats are like the actual, like rocket turrets that are surrounding some of those, like bases and stuff.
Or those Geth Colossus.
Yeah, those things are tough too. But like, I would rarely, after that first Thresher Maw mission, I rarely got through all my shields and actually started chipping away at the actual structural integrity of the whatever it is, rover. I don't know. It was, it's fun, and it's a great way to like I said, you can just, I would go out of my way to make sure I was killing every enemy because it was just an easy way to pick up all the experience points, because it's just like you zoom in and like a couple shots from the little pea shooter turret and you're killing all these Geth, and it's a good time.
Absolutely. Yes. And if you take too much damage, just ride off over a hill and slap some Omni Gel on everything, and everything's right as rain again, which again is another thing I miss in Mass Effect is Omni Gel. The magical goo that does everything.
I like that concept, that it's just like, you need to fix your starship hull, Omni Gel. You got to cut, Omni Gel.
It is called Omni
Gel. It's true. It's absolutely fantastic. So I could do with some Omni Gel on my lower back. I think that would. I think it would fix me.
I'll put some Omni Gel on your lower back.
Thank you, Brian. I appreciate that. You've just got an extra point that you might still lose by the end of the episode. Speaking of points and building people, so how did you go about creating your Shepherd right at the start? I mean, because there are a few options to begin with. You know, there are a few different classes and what have you. I mean, did you go full soldier? Did you mix in a little bit of biotics? I mean, what was your style?
Default, and then guess it. That's right. Default.
Oh, so basically, Brian, you don't manually upgrade your stats. You let because wasn't there a way to like just randomly assign the stats, or
I mean,
whatever, like you could go for like a specific build or something like that.
Yeah, there are different sort of character classes and different focuses and different weapons and what have you that you'll specialize in. I mean, I tend to go, what do I use? A Vanguard, if I remember correctly, which is a little bit of soldiering, a little bit of biotics. It's just a nice mix between the two. And I do that to set myself up for the future games, because there are some biotic abilities that they introduce later on in the series that are absolute fucking beasts.
I had to look it up. I couldn't actually remember. Okay, I actually have an answer.
Go ahead.
Now.
Okay.
Yeah. I mostly focused. Whenever I play a game, I always like that gives me the option. I always like being more stealthy, and then long rifles, so the assault rifle. Yeah. So I put a lot into the assault rifle on Shepard, and what's that thing called? The assault rifle? Did I say assault rifle already, or sniper rifle?
No, you didn't say sniper rifle, but that's what I was expecting you to say.
Yeah, okay.
I know you're a...
Sorry, sniper rifle is the one I should have said at first, and then assault rifle was kind of my backup, because I'd always do the battle from a distance.
You love a sniper rifle, do, don't you?
Yeah, and then after that, I always had one character like locked and loaded with hacking, because, you always got to have a character to hack.
Oh, buddy. Essential.
Yeah. And then other than that, it was, decryption, electronics, then basic and combat armor and stuff like that, just to upgrade their defensive ability, because, I expect my teammates to run out into firefights, and if they don't, I will put a marker so they do run out, so they can distract the enemy and I can kill them from behind.
Oh, brilliant.
With my sniper rifle.
Nice. So you're actually fully engaging in the kind of tactical positioning of your squad. I mean, these days, I just let them do whatever the fuck they want and just...
Yeah, that's what I was doing.
And guns blazing.
No. If I couldn't find an enemy, I would send them right up a ramp there, so they'd get shot, and then either they kill the enemy, or the enemy would pop up, and I would use my sniper rifle to pop them up.
I love the fact that you have so much control over your allies, though. I mean, you can just bring up that power wheel and just get them right. You use this power on this one. You use a singularity over there, so now half the room is floating, and I'm just going to toss a grenade over there, and it just has so much... scope. It's true, yeah. Just
there's a lot of ways
how you said
to play
that. It's like, look at all these tactical stuff you can do. I literally put a marker so they would run to a location and get shot. There was no tactics involved.
Brian,
if they shot back, bonus.
That is directly from the Zap Brannigan School of Tactics.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Got here as fast as I wanted to.
Well, yeah, I mean, there is a lot of depth to this, which I'm finding out is this will probably not be my only ever playthrough, because I am enjoying it. But like, yeah, you can, kind of take the reins a little bit more and have your allies do like different maneuvers and stuff. Draw out, like you said. So the singularity like gets rid of gravity and makes them just kind of float around. You could pop them.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, they're just kind of drifting around a mini black hole, which is just take shots at your leisure. It's wonderful. That's why I always like a little bit of biotics.
Yeah, that's what I was like. Like the biotics, I didn't quite understand. Like I don't fully understand all the stats. Like this is a pretty deep and there's a lot to this game, and that, like we said, we're not going to be able to cover it all, and you wouldn't be able to, necessarily, unless you're like using a guide and like reading up on it. And I mean, there's so much layers to this that like a first playthrough is almost like play it through and then go play it through again if you enjoy it, and you'll find more things, or you'll understand more as you go through.
I did.
For sure. I don't know. Like I don't mess with my allies. Like they can go do whatever they want. I don't care. Like I'm pretty much a one-man wrecking crew.
But it's nice that you have that option. You can play it either way, which is, I mean, I do tend to level up, like, absolutely, the hacking, the electronics and stuff like that are essential. My main focus for any playthrough, and this sort of takes us into a little bit of the morality system behind the game, which I love, is always making sure my charm, or if I'm going that way, my intimidate, are as high as they can possibly be at any given time. That is my main focus of any playthrough, because that ability.
Oh, you had the charm. The charm is what got you laid.
Well, and meant well. I mean, I'm pretty sure you can get laid without charm.
Not if you're me.
But there are so many situations, especially later on in the game, where a high charm or intimidate, if you like, can get you out of some sticky situations, and it just opens up some really fun options in dialogue, and can get you some tasty rewards too. But it's all tied into the morality system, much like Knights of the Old Republic, and so I'm interested. Yeah, you playing like a saint, or are you guys out to piss the universe off?
Like every Fable game that's ever been out there, I have a pathological need to be the good
100%.
guy.
Yeah, could not agree more.
Too.
Yeah, it's like if I do something mean to somebody, I actually feel bad. Like the options there, I'll hover over the angry option, and I'll be like, no. He'll might bite me in the ass later, and I'll go be nice or something. Fuck. Also, I was always nice to the ladies because I really was trying to, if you know what I mean.
I do. Yep. I do. Get your little mass erect.
Get those alien boobs. Gosh, what? I mean, I always go towards the, whatever. I was always getting Paragon points, like those pop up in the corner, like when you have an interaction and it gives you points towards your morality, it'll say what it is. And I think I got Renegade once.
Yeah.
And then mostly I'm getting Paragon, so I think I'm like doing the quote unquote good thing. It seems a little bit, because that's another BioWare game, but like KOTOR had this sort of morality system where you're like light or dark side based on your choices. And I just remember like the kind of cool thing about that was if you were taking the like kind of the evil path, it was easier to get money, which was kind of a fun little twist to that. And like, but the thing with KOTOR was like, I was trying to kind of be bad, and like I would pick the mean responses, but then I ended up like super light side because like I didn't do anything actually bad. I was just like kind of a dick sometimes when I was talking to people, which doesn't count, I guess. This one, it really seems like your dialogue tree choices, it's a little more cut and dry. Like the top one is the kind of the virtuous one, and then there's a middle one, and then there's like the one on the bottom, which is like the, I guess, more or less evil one, because there's ones where the choices are just like flat out like kill him. And that's pretty easy to be like, okay, that's the ruthless one, and that's pretty clear. So I like that better than KOTOR in this game, where like it's much more cut and dry what the choices are, and you can very consciously choose to do like a Paragon route or whatever the evil one is. I don't think I got any of those points, but whatever.
Yeah, I think they have to affect more, because sort of as far as the story goes, you are still confined by the necessities of your position. It's like you can't just go around slaughtering half the galaxy, because then you're basically no better than Saren. But at the same time, it is just how much of a dick you are to people, and just how ruthless you are. But, obviously you can't go around doing Sith things in Mass Effect, or else just the story would break down altogether.
Yeah, and like in KOTOR, it was like you had to like straight up murder someone in your party and I couldn't even figure out how to do that, so it wasn't evil enough, so whatever.
There you go. But yeah, I have played both ways, and a renegade playthrough can be a lot of fun. Certainly, you certainly punch more, but certainly in the sort of second and third game, your Shepard is very punch happy, which can be fun. And there is, and I'm not going to talk about Mass Effect 3, but there is one one part of Mass Effect 3 where I will never not use the Renegade option. If you know, you know. And incredibly, well, somebody listening to this does know, and they agree with me. But I love it. I love a good morality system in games. But again, I am more or less 90% of the time leaning towards being a good guy because, you know, I like to feel.
I don't think any game has ever truly perfected the morality system, though. Even this game, like, I don't know, just it's a good morality system. Don't get me wrong, but I just don't think anybody's ever really made the perfect morality system in games.
I guess.
Like, it's always a slider, right? Like, if you do 1 point bad, 2 points good, well, you're still good, technically. But if you're in real life, if you do one bad thing, well, people aren't just going to forgive you because you did 2 good things.
I guess. But I think you need to make it very cut and dry because people either want to go all the way good or all the way bad most of the time. So if they've got to kind of make that easier in order to, I guess, make it more accessible. I don't know. It is very sort of black and white, I agree. But I think that sort of serves. Otherwise, if you're sort of somewhere in the middle, you're not really getting the benefit of either.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that, but I really want to see somebody come up with an idea that kind of gives you a range, and maybe not just good and bad, but, you know, you have like an up and down on it as well, so you could be good, but, you know, you've done bad things, so people won't forgive you, even though you're doing good. You'll get a benefit somewhere else. I don't know. I could probably, you know, workshop this for days with 1,000 people and not come up with anything better.
If only we had somebody who was studying game design.
If we find him, we'll ask him.
So, before we get into like some of the characters and the stories and the missions and things like that, into sort of full-on spoiler territory, I just wanted to touch on one last thing. The music. I think the music, especially this time playing it, having recently watched things like Stranger Things and all of that, I love that sort of almost 80s style soundtrack that this game has, just tinkering away in the background there. I think the music in this game is phenomenal. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I don't remember the music that well, but it's usually a good thing when it comes to games. I mean, it probably fit the tone of the game pretty well. I'm end up going to have to listen to the soundtrack again, so I'll let you know later. I'll cut in something that's totally disjointed from the entire podcast.
Oh, well, I mean, that's kind of our MO, is to be disjointed, so it'd fit. What about you, Sam? You like it? You like a good bit of 80s electronica, surely?
Yeah. I mean, it's good, but yeah, it's definitely subtle. It's not very overpowering unless there's a way to go into the menu and fiddle with the options and turn the music up or something like that. It's fairly quiet and in the background, but fits the tone. So
yeah,
I mean, nothing jumps out at me though.
I think it's very dramatic and bombastic when it needs to be, and sometimes it's just not there at all. Like when you're driving around a planet's surface and what have you, it's conspicuously absent because that just adds to the atmosphere of emptiness. And
right, yeah, that's perfect. Like I wouldn't expect there to be any sounds.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite ways to use silence in order to enhance the experience.
Yeah. Oh, I completely agree. But yeah, well, I thought it was worth mentioning. Again, just having played it hundreds of times, I can listen to it in my head, and I just really enjoy that shit. Good stuff. Well, okay. Well, we've danced around it for long enough. I want to talk about some of the characters, the crew, some of the main characters, and get into a little bit of story mission and what have you. But first and foremost, in the grand scheme of the pantheon of great spaceships in science fiction, one of the main characters in the game, for my money, the SSV Normandy. What a ship, right?
I kept getting lost in it.
What?
It took me a while to realize there was an elevator to go down or stairs to go down. I can't remember what. And then when I got down there, I couldn't find where I was supposed to go. And then I kept running up and down trying to find the trigger for the next event. And then I was just like, this ship's dumb.
How fucking dare you, Brian? That's my baby.
It made me feel dumb, so it's dumb.
Oh,
But I do like the fact that it has Seth Green at the helm.
Yes.
yeah, Joker. Yeah, he's like that's an instantly
Actually-
recognizable voice, right?
Yep.
Well, that and Keith David.
Oh,
Or David Keith. I can't remember how to pronounce his name, which
it's
way
Keith,
it goes.
Keith David. Yeah, you've got me doubting myself now.
Yeah, Keith David. Yeah, he's in everything, and you instantly know
you do.
him.
You do. There is some good voice talent in here. I mean, Jennifer Hale, if you're playing the female Shepard. Mark Meer is obviously the male Shepard. There are some, and especially as the series goes on, they get more and more. But this does have a stellar voice cast.
Yeah, it does. One thing I like, what was it called? What was the ship called? Fuck.
The Normandy.
Normandy.
See, forgettable.
I was gonna say Nautilus. But I didn't find the ship too hard to navigate once you realize, like, basically, like, in the middle is basically the map, and then further back is the whatever room where you can summon the virtual council and talk to them, and then the very front is obviously
the meeting room.
Yeah, the meeting room, whatever.
When it could have been an email, they have a meeting room.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Instead of having a console with, like, emails, you have, like, a full ass room you have to sit in. That sounds like a nightmare.
They actually bring in emails in the next game, which is funny.
Oh, great.
So they address.
Where was I going with that? Oh, finding the Normandy, like finding the dock. What, like, the first time you go to Citadel, okay, I got lost for like an hour trying to find the fucking dock.
Yeah.
They're like, "We'll go to the dock." It's like, where's the fucking dock? It's like,
Yeah, go to this place. Just take a left there, and you're like, "Where the fuck am I?" And then you end up in this the security room, and then you're supposed to take an elevator.
It
from
is
there.
Yeah,
kind
it's
of
like in
weird that it's in the
isn't
middle
it?
of
Like,
CSEC. Yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
like I'm like wandering around that middle, like, whatever concourse, and there's signs everywhere and stuff, but still, like, it was just saying, like, this is the way to the Citadel, and or whatever, the chambers, and this is the way to the CSEC, and this is the way to the market. It's like, I don't want any of that stuff. I want the fucking dock. So I actually had to look it up. I'm like, where is this fucking place?
Yeah, I'm not a big fast travel kind of guy, because I like to walk around, explore, learn how to navigate, on foot before I start fast traveling later on in the game. And this applies to every game. But my God, the second I learned I could fast travel in this game, I fucking hop from spot to spot to spot to spot.
Yeah.
I don't think I spent more than 2 steps inside the Citadel before I fast traveled.
Yeah,
man,
I
you
fast
see,
traveled to, like, there's like that bar that you have to go to in the medical clinic and stuff. I just bopped between those with the tram.
It is weird that there's no sort of fast travel point directly to the dock. You have to go to CSEC in order to, like, and so you have to know that that's where it is. And I've never thought of that before. So there you go. I'll take that on board. It's not gonna affect my score, but it's interesting. It's interesting. But yeah, I mean, the thing is with the Citadel as well. It's just like, it is. Once you get used to it, it's not as big as it first appears. Like, it does a really good job of presenting itself as absolutely massive.
Oh,
and
yeah.
You are supposed to poke around in every corner, because there are so many side missions that will take you off station to various parts of the galactic map to fetch or kill or otherwise. And it's one of those hubs where things tend to change after every main mission. So I usually find myself, like, going out, doing a main mission, and clearing the side quest, then going back to the Citadel and seeing if anything's changed, pick up some more missions, go out, etc., rinse and repeat. So I do try not to fast travel if possible, although by the end of the game, when I know I've done everything, then yeah, I'm hopping around that bitch as much as possible.
Yeah, you got to. It saves you probably like 16 hours of gameplay not running back and forth.
Yeah. But
And
yeah,
it is-
one thing...
the environments are very big.
Like you...
Yeah.
Yeah, but you are right, Alan. I mean, the way you can look up and you just see this expansive, like, sky and all these buildings inside the Citadel, it really does feel a lot bigger than it turns out to be. And once you do start to realize where you're going, like, after I fast traveled, you obviously still have to walk somewhere. You do start remembering paths and where to go and how to get there. And I think that's It's fun of exploration in games. Like, if you take a big open world game and you start to realize where to go without opening up your map, that makes the game a lot more fun because you're learning, like, the layout. And this game is no different to that. It does really make the Citadel more fun.
Yeah, the map is always the biggest when you don't know it at first. Like, the more you explore it, that map will shrink real quick.
It's almost
unless you're playing Valhalla, then it's way too big.
Oh my god, I don't think I love Valhalla. Not to go off topic, but I love Valhalla. But I don't think I'll ever play that game again. That was just too. I'm still full up from playing that game. Like 2 or 3 years later. Jesus Christ. But yeah. So you did successfully find the Normandy in the end, though, which is nice.
Yeah, eventually, yeah. It's just like
he found it yesterday before recording.
Nice. Yeah, and then I did nothing but play it for the next like 10 hours.
Yeah. So what about your? I mean, you obviously, it's a grand space adventure. You're going to pick up all sorts of weird and wonderful aliens to join your crew, humans and aliens alike. I mean, what did you think about the crew of the Normandy? I mean, not even just the playable, or quote unquote playable characters. Are there any favorites? Any least favorites? I mean, talk to me.
Like I said, I like Joker, but I'll let Sam answer.
Oh, sorry. Well, I mean, I like the personalities that like the characters have, because even you're finding Rex and who are the alien ladies? There are like 2 alien ladies I found.
Liara. Oh, you're talking on the ship. Yeah.
Liara
so,
and Tally.
So like you bring them in, and some of them are apprehensive. Like, this is a human ship. Why are you bringing weird aliens on here? And I'm like, well, a couple of them are kind of hot, maybe. And then like, have you seen this guy? Like, I'm taking him into battle every time. But yet, there were like 4 aliens that I found. I didn't find any additional human characters, so I was kind of wondering, like, how many potential characters are there to find, and did I find them all? Which I'm not sure if I did.
Aren't they?
Go ahead, Brian.
Aren't they grayed out, like, until you find them in one of the menus?
Yes, they are. Yeah, you're right. And it's
because there's this 6 total characters. I found them all.
It's impossible.
Then I found them all.
It's impossible not to find them all. So you've got your 2 human characters, Ashley and Caden, and we'll talk about those later on. Liara, Tally, my boy Garrus, Rex, obviously.
Rex. I like Rex.
Rex is a cool character. Like, he has some of the.
I just like the alien design.
Yeah, he's a giant angry space turtle. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And but all of these characters have such wonderful backstories and such fleshed out characters that you do get more and more of as you talk to them. And it is worth sort of popping back after every mission to just re-talk to your entire crew and just see what's changed, because it's so fascinating to find out about these characters. And obviously, if you're trying to charm the pants off of one of them, then it's kind of essential to have a chat every now and then.
Yeah.
I just love the crew. I just think they're just such a brilliant bunch of characters, with the exception maybe of Ashley.
I think I can't remember which one, because I know we're going to spoil this later, but I'm going to spoil it now. I don't remember which one I sent off to die, but I think it was Ashley, because she was kind of a bitch.
She is a massive space racist, and I do not stand for that kind of bullshit on my ship.
Yeah, I must not have been paying attention. So it's like, I'll save Ashley because she has the highest combat rating.
That's reasonable.
Yeah, double D combat rating.
Yeah.
Wink.
I didn't bring either of the humans on, because most of the time it's like, yeah, if I'm going to have the ability to bring aliens with me, I'm going to bring aliens with me, because that sounds cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I never used the humans, and so when it got into like a thing where it's like, you got to pick, between the 2 of us who you want to save, I'm like, I could give a shit if I've not used you at all in my party.
Yeah.
So
that's actually
why
the
are you
reason
still
I don't remember
here?
who I killed. Yeah, these 2 characters were so devoid of personality to me that I did not attach to any of them. The alien characters, yeah, I have some love for them, but these 2, you could have thrown them both in the airlock and fired them into space, and it'd be like, yeah.
Oh, poor Caden. who was also Car Thanassi from Knights of the Old Republic, I believe.
Oh, that's cool.
It is cool. Nice bit of continuity there. I mean, yeah, I'm always taking Garrus and Liara, generally speaking, because you've got a good bit of biotics and combat, both sides of it. Or if I really need the electronics, Tally would come along. I do tend to mix it up a little bit because there are certain things that you can do on these side missions where it just makes sense to bring that character. I mean, let's just get into that. We're in spoiler territory now, so fuck it. One of the missions on Noveria where you're going for matriarch Benezia, who is Liara's mother. It just makes sense to take Liara along with you, and that does open up some interesting avenues for conversation.
Yeah.
So
That sucked though.
That's why I brought
exactly, and I like the way that changes the story, because you could literally go to that planet first and then get Liara afterwards. I don't know why you would, but it's an option. So I like the way it changes the story as you go.
It was cool to have those story elements. But I did miss, because I took Rex and Liara, and then I didn't have enough decryption skill to like open chests, and I was like, fuck. But I couldn't open anything that needed any sort of decryption. So I was like, well, I guess I'm just not picking up items on this mission because I got to tag this pretty useless character. Like, I mean, she does biotics, right, really well,
Yeah.
but doesn't have a lot of combat skills. So like, she was, if anyone was like fainting or getting killed in a battle or whatever, it was her. Like, they basically, when like, she would, I think KOTOR does the same thing where like if you lose a party member, once the battle kind of wraps up, they just kind of wake up with minimal
again,
health,
yeah.
and you got to heal them and stuff. So that was pretty much her the entire time.
Oh, poor Liara. I mean, I will say, without going too far into detail, like she has that very green around the gills thing in Mass Effect 1, but she's a fucking beast by the end of the series. So I love Liara. She's a great character. But yeah, I never used
Well, I look forward to that surprise.
Well, very, very little surprises there. But yeah, no, the human characters I rarely use. I do sort of mix it up with the aliens there. But yeah, I just...
Oh, I remember why I hate Ashley
Go
now.
ahead.
She was going to pop Rex.
Yes. Well, I mean, if that... well, let's talk about Vermeer. Perhaps my favorite mission, favorite planet, favorite part of the story altogether. And a possibility of losing a crew member as well, because, Rex can die in this game, and then he's not present for any of the other games, which is just absolutely fascinating and heartbreaking all at once. Obviously, if you've done enough with him, if you've got his family's armor and high enough charm and all the rest of it, you can sort of squash that situation before it gets anywhere. But yeah, if you're just not very good, she will pop Rex in the back of the head, and that's it for him. What a bitch.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, or you can order her to pop Rex in the back of the head, or you can shoot Rex yourself. That is one of the best story branches of the game. It's just there's one point I was reading online, because I saved Rex because I want him for the next game.
Mm-hmm.
But I was reading the different options, and one was if you take too long or you do something wrong, Ashley's just going to shoot him in the head anyways, and then you have a choice of either yelling at her or forgiving her, and it's just like, no, I'd rather Rex and Ashley. Ashley's been fucking useless my entire playthrough, so don't kill the guy I take with me on a lot of missions.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that's why I sent her to die at the end of the game.
I did. Sorry, go ahead, Sam.
No, I was able to, it was cool that I was able to save him with my, persuasion, charisma, charm. That's the word I was looking for. I had enough charm that I actually, I had enough charm and intimidation that when I got to that point, I had like all of the different options.
Yeah.
And I think it's cool that the charm and intimidate options are like blue and red. So you can tell, like, and when one's grayed out, your stat isn't high enough or whatever. But it was just kind of neat, and it felt like a real turning point when I got to that section of the game, and I'm talking to Rex. It's like, oh, I really have all of the options here, and could branch in any
And you
direction.
can kind of tell at that point that if you didn't, things were not going to end well. And I love, like, I don't know, I just get a little buzz whenever I see that blue or red option pop up. It's just like, oh boy, you know, I'm
Yeah.
good enough to do something here, and I appreciate that. But yeah, Vermeer is just such a wonderful mission because, I mean, to delve.
Except for the beginning of it,
How so? Oh,
because you're in that
oh,
stupid
the Mako.
Mako.
Oh, fair enough. I mean,
Yeah,
again,
fuck.
I love the Mako, but yeah, if you're not hot on the Mako, that bit's going to drag. But yeah, so I mean, to delve a little bit back into story, I mean, this is where you sort of really discover what it is that Saren is up to. So at this point, you're chasing him and his army of Geth, which are sentient machines invented by the Quarians, etc., etc. We won't go into the history of every race, even though that could be a podcast all by itself. And discover that Saren is not only breeding an army of Krogan, which shouldn't be possible, but is, and he's also investigating indoctrination. Now, you're chasing Saren throughout this entire game, and he's got this amazing, massive, horrifying-looking spaceship that he's just cruising around in. And this is where, and we haven't even spoken about them yet, because the whole threat behind Saren's actions is the return of the Reapers, which is a sentient race of machines that every 50,000 years come back and wipe out all advanced sentient life. So once any race, once the galactic community has reached a certain level of sophistication or advancement, they just completely wipe the slate clean. And yeah, that is the threat. That is what's coming. And
Or in this case, it's once, you know, civilization reaches a certain level of political bureaucracy that means the politicians don't believe of the threat that's going to kill them.
absolutely, absolutely, it is.
Because God, they were so terrible. Oh, I love them.
They just don't want to believe anything.
Oh my God, there's somebody coming to kill you on the Citadel. We'll have a vote on it in
Voldemort is not back. But yeah, one of my favorite moments in the game, bar none, is when you get to Saren's, I guess, command center on Vermeer, and you have a conversation with Saren's spaceship, and the penny drops, and you are talking to an actual Reaper. And
Yeah.
tell me how that felt, because that voice just, you can feel that in your stomach, no?
It was pretty cool. I mean, I didn't get into it as you did, but it was a good little twist near the end of the game where, you know, you're chasing Saren and this is the bad guy. Even though that for a little bit there, it tries to make you think Matriarch Benezia is the main villain or going to end up to be the main villain. And they pull that rug out from underneath you, and then it's back to Saren, and he's like, well, this is the bad dude. And then it turns out it's the Geth and the Reapers, and you're like, holy shit. And it's like, how many more races are there going to be before we're done? But no, it was a good reveal. I appreciated that, especially because it was at the point there that the story started wrapping up, and that's when the best action of the game happened.
Definitely. Sam, you played Vermeer. You got that far, didn't you?
I sure did. Yeah. It was pretty neat. I can see why. I mean, it is kind of the most expansive mission in the game. It has a lot of story elements, and it incorporates a lot of different. Like you've got the beginning stage where you're kind of rolling through in the rover and, you know, attacking different, you know, defensive installations. And I actually like that you can, you know, if it's a gate or if it's like an outpost, you can kind of go to town with the rover and then get out and walk around, and there might be some, you know, there's things that you can miss. You know, sometimes there's you know, like relays to turn off or signal jammers you can turn off, and it gives you a little, you know, boost, like you'll be able to use your radar again. Or there was ways to like turn off, what was it, like anti-aircraft, and then you could call in you know, later on it seemed like, you know, if I hadn't turned off the anti-aircraft weaponry, like would the situation have played out different? You're not able to call in the Normandy and stuff like that. So there's a lot of like ins and outs to this mission where you can tell that this is very much like kind of the focal point, or like a turning point of the whole game, where it's like it's all been kind of leading up to this, and then like the, you know, the big reveal, and then, you know, I haven't played what comes after it yet, but I'm assuming that, you know, like what comes after is wildly different depending on what you do in this mission.
I mean, the end of the game, and I'm curious about how much you personally want us to spoil here.
No, I don't care. Go for it. I mean, like, I plan to. I don't really mind spoilers, and I definitely plan to finish it either way. And you know, I've got the collection, so I'd be really interested in, you know, moving on to the second and third one.
Brian, you're about to be the voice of reason.
Yeah, I was going to say, before we get into the Sam spoiler section, let's jump back. I can't remember the name of the mission, but it's the one where all the people are zombified or whatever, or their brains are taken over.
That's a fun one too.
And that mission there, and we were talking about it in our chat there as we went through the game, our different approaches of not hurting anybody, or me and Sam, we just mowed down everybody who was in front of us.
Jesus.
So what is the consequence, Alan, of that mission if you kill versus don't kill the population?
I mean, beyond the, and this is the interesting thing, beyond obviously the Paragon on Renegade that you'll get either way from your choices in that mission, you know, if you save all of the colonists, then the colony on Feros is allowed to thrive. Obviously, if you kill them all, that colony is now gone. And you might think, well, that doesn't really matter. But these are the things that affect your save file through subsequent games. Because, you know, Mass Effect, it's no secret. The decisions you make in the first game will affect every subsequent game. It all carries across. So characters you lose are gone from 2 and 3. Places you've saved are there in 2 and 3. It all carries across. And, you know, I can't get too much into detail about how that is going to play out. It may be, and there's a lot of, like, fucking Conrad Werner, the fan on the Citadel, who we didn't mention, who I'd be remiss if we didn't bring that guy up. Your obsessed Stalker fan there. Like, he just seems like a funny thing that happens. But, you know, that plays through all 3 games, and, you know, you get these wonderful payoffs for your decisions just popping up when you might have just thought, well, I'd forgotten all about that. I wasn't really paying attention to that. It's just I didn't realise that was going to be important.
I look forward to that.
So, yeah, the short answer is I can't tell you without spoiling other games.
Well, there is consequences in future games, all you got to say, but I guess we can get to that final, like, the best, honestly, moment of the entire Mass Effect is when you return to the Citadel.
Well, take it away, Brian. So, you know, Saren has found the conduit, which is the thing he's been chasing the entire game. You've made it through the Mu relay to Ilos. Go ahead.
Yeah, you take that conduit back into the Citadel, which turns out to be basically designed by the Reapers, I believe, in order to, I guess, collect all of the organic life, and that way they can kill them in one spot, and that's where they come from, their own dimension, and that Citadel starts to close and stuff like that, and you happen to get just inside of it, and you're doing that mission where you're basically on the side of, I can't remember if it was outside or like whatever, but you're like
tower. You're
in space, you're obviously in the space suit, and you're jumping around, and the scope of what you're running around on was so massive. It was fantastic to look at. And it was a great mission.
Fantastic. Basically the Citadel, the mass relays, all of that were designed by the Reapers just to usher, you know, races and development along. The Citadel itself is a giant mass relay, and it's the one that when activated, the Reapers will all come through immediately at once. That, you know, literally just taking out the head of galactic civilization, making their genocide a lot easier. But yeah, I love that bit when you're literally magnet booting your way up the Citadel Tower because everything's been locked down, and you see Sovereign, the Reaper, perched on the edge, on the top of the Citadel Tower, just looming over you. It is spectacular.
Yeah. And then that whole thing where, like, the Normandy's kind of locked in there, and then you get to a point where you got to choose. Do you save the Council, or do you save something else? And I chose the something else because it fucked me a cold day in hell before I save a politician's life over anything else. But it was satisfying because, like I said, the bureaucracy behind the politicians was hilarious, and it all comes to a head where you just like, save the rich people or don't. And I was just like, nope. It's like, fuck you, politicians. You want to be a politician? Die.
Yeah. So basically, the choice
That's probably going to have some FBI people showing up.
could be.
House.
We're all on a watch list now. Yeah, you can either bring in the alliance, the Human Alliance fleet, to save the Destiny Ascension and the council.
That's what it was.
Or hold them back beyond the relay so that more of them survive and are able to take on Sovereign. I saved the council because I'm just goody, Mr. Goody Two Shoes. But yeah,
Was that the good option? Is save the council? I thought the good option was to save the more people.
I mean it's fairly nuanced. I just feel like from a point of view of humanity's acceptance into galactic civilization, maybe doing something like that would be like, okay, well, these guys are not so bad.
Yeah, but if they die, then what's his name? Keith David's character, he gets to become the boss.
Well, not in so much. I mean, a new council is instated. So,
but isn't he the head of it? He's like placed as the head of the new council.
You can sort of choose to say, it's been a long time since I've killed the council, but he certainly you can choose to have him become one of the councillors, or you can choose Adina.
Okay, that must have been what it was, because you choose between him and that other already human politician guy. And again, cold day in hell before I let a politician be a politician. So I took a military hero and made him a politician.
A respectable choice.
Next game he can die.
It's just such a fantastic. I mean, and again, tying it into the whole Paragon and Renegade choices there, like that final fight with Saren, basically. And again, sorry Sam, but spoilers.
And no worries.
Did you manage to get Saren to shoot himself?
No, I didn't. I didn't know that was an option. I ended up doing the fight with him. Then you beat him, and then he comes back to life in his second final boss form, and then you have to beat him again.
Yeah. So I mean, if you've got a high enough Paragon, he will literally shoot himself in the head, fall down, and you do have that second boss fight, sure. But it's just neat. I managed to talk him down. Brilliant. He just at the end there, he managed to regain a little bit of the Saren he was.
Yeah.
And yeah.
But that was the twist, is like, this is why I said at the beginning of the episode that I really wish they explored Saren as a good guy, because it would have had more impact at this point when you found out Saren was basically being mind controlled the entire time. He was under the influence of the Reapers. And him finding his, let's call it humanity for lack of a better term, at the end of the game would have had more impact on me, as opposed to this point where I already hated Saren, so if he shot himself in the head, he might as well just go with the politicians.
I see. I don't know if I agree. Because
we can agree to disagree, and then we'll just say you're wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think the fact that you never see Saren as a good guy, and then that little turn happens right at the end there, it's just like, because if you already knew that he was good and that he's being controlled, then it wouldn't have that impact, because suddenly at the end you're like, oh fuck, maybe everything that he's done is...
No, I'm not saying reveal that he's being controlled at the beginning. Turn him into a bad guy for just like he flipped, and then at the end reveal that he's being controlled, and then show that old Saren again. And
okay,
it would have been a nice little twist, because you hate this guy through the whole game because you knew he was a good guy, then he's bad, he turned on you. And then you find out at the end of the game he's being controlled, and all of a sudden now you're a little bit conflicted inside.
I could get on board with that. That's not an unreasonable take. But yeah. So you beat Saren, and Sovereign falls off the tower because they are in a symbiotic relationship at this point. And the Normandy punches a hole through Sovereign, which is the most satisfying moment in video game history. And all is well. And that's Mass Effect. And I'm certain that we've missed loads. It's impossible to cover everything in a game like this, but it would be silly if we didn't at least cover perhaps one of the most important things in the game, which is, of course, the romance options and who you chose and who you choose to bang and why it's Liara to Sony.
So wait, I haven't encountered any of this yet. Is it like something that happens toward the end game, or something that you can be like actively doing between missions on the ship?
You have to actively do it. You have to continuously talk to your crewmates and then charm them as you go throughout, and you build up a relationship with them as you go. And when you get to a certain point, Liara wants to bang you, and then you go to your quarters and you
Yeah,
bang.
it's
Well,
sort of
shit,
a.
I didn't do any of that.
There might still be time.
Oh,
Just keep
prude.
talking. Just keep talking. But yeah, it's sort of the.
At
I
this
guess
point, it's like, hey, the game's almost over. You want to bang?
you want to sleep with me or
You
what?
could go with the "we're all gonna die" option.
Yeah, I guess so.
But it's it's kind of a staple of I almost said Bioshock there, Bioware games, right? Especially Mass Effect, and it's been memed to death with the Shepard will bang okay stuff. But yeah, it's just, and obviously I think there's pretty much only 2 options in the first game, but that's something that they expanded. Don't worry, you can still bang half of your crew, maybe more in later games. So I don't know. It's just a fun little point of no return. Just before the end mission, we may not make it back from this. So, homie fucked a Martian once.
Yeah.
And Ashley was still racist.
Yeah, and dead.
Oh, she would have been if she wasn't dead by this
Because
point.
I sent her to regain her family's honor and explode with a nuclear bomb. See you later.
Now, is it true that you can charm and bang any of your crew members, including like?
Yeah, you can do the dudes as well.
Can you
I
get
think.
freaky with Rex? Like,
So I don't, and I think they added those sort of options later on in the series. I don't think they're in the first one.
No, you can't in this game. According to the wiki,
Oh,
there's no
alright.
romance option for
It's been
Rex.
a
Well, you
long
know what,
time since I picked anyone other than Liara. So
I do really appreciate
You can
that.
bang Caden, though.
Well, he's dead for me, so I shouldn't do that.
you did. To me.
I don't know. I just appreciate a game that allows you to like. I mean, in the truest sense, it is a like futuristic science fiction universe. Like, obviously at this point, humans have transcended not all of their prejudices, but at least some of them. Like why not? Guys, girls,
Captain Kirk in your way through the
aliens,
universe.
whoever.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, absolutely. Why not?
Why not? Why not? It's like a reward.
Erotic.
It's actually probably one of the only reasons I went back to talk to my crew so often was to get these romance options.
Yeah,
Nice.
I mean,
yeah.
Otherwise, I probably never would have talked to them. Be like, I'll see you at your performance review. That's
Yeah.
about it.
Well,
Rex,
here's
I
the
like
thing
what you've
for
been
me.
doing.
Here's why, like, I'm almost done at this point with the game. I'll finish it up, but before I go to play 2, like, I would probably, knowing what I know now, I would rather play the game again, the first one again before I play 2, because if your choices carry over into 2, like, there were some things that I didn't do because I didn't know that I could do them, because it's such a expansive and multi-layered game that there's just so much to do. Like your first playthrough without a guide or anything, that you're gonna miss stuff, which is kind of cool actually, because there's a ton of replayability, getting like different endings and making different choices the next time around.
Well, this is it, and this is why I would encourage anyone to play it without a guide. Just play it how
Yeah.
you feel, and just make the mistakes, and just see how that storyline plays out. Because I guarantee the next time you play it, it's going to be an entirely different scenario, and that's kind of the wonder. Because if you sort of know what the options are going to do, it takes a bit of the magic out of it. And first time round, that was the magic for me, because I had no idea what my decisions were going to affect, and especially going on to Mass Effect 2, where those choices really matter. It's nice to sort of go in blind, I think, and that's what I would recommend to anyone who's going to play this game. Just go in blind and enjoy it.
Yeah, that's probably the best way to play it. No expectations. I kind of had high expectations, so again, overhyped in my head.
Well, I mean, that seems like a good a time as any, because I tell you what, I am spent. I mean, I think we're ready to to wrap up this mission and go back to the Citadel.
And he's covered with spooky ectoplasm.
Spooky ectoplasm. Yeah.
There was a ghost.
Spooky ghost. Brian, why don't you kick things off and wrap up?
Oh, all right. So like I said, this game was overhyped in my head because of just how many people just sing its praises. So I was going in with the expectation that I'd be like, yeah, this game is terrible. But honestly, I actually really enjoyed the game as much as I've been giving shit on you for the last week and a bit there, Alan. It's not going to be my top RPG of all time, like so many people have said, because I am very ride and die JRPGs, and of course Chrono Trigger will never be top for me. However, it does sit high upon the, let's call them the outside RPGs, the action RPGs, the ones that just don't fit in my little personal bubble. It was fun. I actually enjoyed it. The shooting aspect was pretty good. The level up system, once you got a hang of it, it was really well done. I like the good guy, bad guy slider, even though I said I had like issues with it, but it's more of a, industry-wide thing rather than this specific game. The story was slow to start for me, and I didn't think I'd get into it, but I think by skipping all the side missions and getting the story out of the way right away, I can now go back and replay this game and take the time on the side missions. So I'm kind of glad I beelined right for the end of the game. I'm looking forward to actually playing Mass Effect 2 now, because this game really did set up a interest for me to see what all my choices have done for the next game. So I probably will start Mass Effect 2 sooner rather than later. And everybody says that's the Mass Effect game to play. So I'm looking forward to that now. Overall, I really, really enjoyed just the experience of this game, the grandeur of the Citadel itself, the pretty uselessness of the politicians, as I've been harping on throughout this entire podcast. The character development was really well done. The choice system, the fact that you could get Saren to kill himself, or you had to pick between Ashley and Caden who was going to die, that was really fun. And quite honestly, because you really do develop these opinions of these characters, like Ashley, the space racist, I was really happy to see die. Even though it was for a noble cause, she's still dead, so win-win. Some of the missions were interesting. I like the talking to you guys and saying something like I avoided killing all these guys because it plays out better later on. I'm just like, no, I killed them all. Like, if they fucking moved, I shot them. There's that one thing we didn't talk about with the giant bug. You have the choice to either set it free or
the rat canine.
I think let it die. And I can't wait to see what the payoff of that is going to be, because that payoff doesn't happen in this game, and I have a feeling it's going to happen in the future games. So it's things like that that keep the intrigue going, and I actually want to continue playing this series now. So it's really, really well done. I'm going to go ahead and give it a score now, because my throat is getting dry and I need to drink. So I'm going to shock Alan. He thought I was going to give it a 1 out of 10, but I'm going to give it a solid 9 out of 10. That's 2 9s in a row for me on podcasts.
Attaboy. I had
both games I never played when I was younger, so maybe this podcast is opening my eyes.
Absolutely.
Or my anus.
I never thought that you would give this game a 1. I like to think over the last few years I've gotten to know you pretty well, and you are a man of impeccable taste.
I like pulling your leg every so often. At least I hope that's your leg.
And I like having my leg
pulled.
But do be sure to, talk to me every once in a while so that you get the option to pull that leg, Can't just go ahead and just grab things. Sam, why don't you follow us up?
All right. Yeah, I guess, my only experience with BioWare so far, and BioWare is the developer of this game and many other, I guess you would call this a Western RPG or a, gosh, I don't even know. Whatever. The lines are blurred. There's so many different types of genres and subgenres. It's like listening to metal, and it's like, it's all good. They're all games and they're all fun. yeah, these types of RPGs, when I played KOTOR, I was disappointed in it because it wasn't quite what I was expecting, and it took me a while to get used to it. This game had a little bit less of a learning curve to me. Once I kind of figured out, like, okay, this is more action based. The kind of, I called them quote unquote, like turn based elements, or like the cooldowns and stuff were kind of a neat touch. And like, obviously, as you go on, you find better weapons and better upgrades, and you get to a point where you're pretty well powered and rolling through enemies, and then that gets fun because it's like, obviously you've if you're rolling through combat, you've done something right, and figuring out the game, collecting items and upgrading your character. So that was fun. So like, obviously RPG elements are there. The third person shooter elements are fun. I think this is a really unique game style. Like, I've never played anything quite like this. Like I played a ton of Star Wars Battlefront when I was younger, and that was I'm pretty good at third person shooters as a result. So like, this was right up my alley. And then having obviously the the RPG elements and the decision trees and stuff. There is so much to this game that, I'm not even finished with it. I'm looking forward to finishing it. I'm looking forward to even playing it again so that I can make different choices and carry those on into the next game. But I'm also like, this has also piqued my interest, and I'm looking up a list of BioWare games. Like, is it BioWare? Yeah. Not BioShock. I mean, Alan, I just sent this to you guys. There's a fucking Sonic RPG on the DS that I'd never heard of that BioWare was involved in. Like, there's Mass Effect, there's Dragon Age, there's, other Star Wars RPGs, there's, Baldur's Gate I played before, but there's a lot of cool shit here. Jade Empire. I didn't realize they were involved in all these games. So it's like, if this is kind of the DNA that all kind of fed into Mass Effect, I'm definitely interested in playing some more of this style of game. Because like Brian, I'm much more of the like JRPG fan as far as my RPGs, but more and more I think I'm I'm looking forward to like adding some more of these to my gaming resume. But I'm going to stop there. I'm going to give this a 9 also. The only reason why I wouldn't go higher than a 9 is because I need to leave room for Mass Effect 2, which I understand is an improvement even over this one, which is a very, very good game. And I played the Legacy Collection. So if you haven't played this game before, I think the Legacy Collection is a really good way to do it. I understand that they up-resed and fixed some things, but even so, like, if I'm playing the original, I mean, this was made over 20 or just about 20 years ago, and it doesn't really show. I mean, it really looks good and holds up and is very cinematic in its scope. So, great game.
Good stuff. There you go. You boys live to see another day.
Yeah. The decision tree, Alan's decision tree is he's not going to pick to kill us.
Pure Paragon all the way. And I suppose...
And there's a black van leaving the front of my house now for some reason.
Yeah, just ignore it. Just ignore it. Listen, I mean, I just want to start off, I'll apologize, because I've been very voracious on this episode. I appreciate that, I've definitely splurged. This has been an episode that's been a couple of years in the making now, and it's something that I've just been dying to talk about for the longest time. I mean, the Mass Effect trilogy in its totality is perhaps my favorite game series of all time. On certain days, at a certain point of view, like, I'll put this above Sonic the Hedgehog. It's just, it is Star Wars. It is Battlestar Galactica, it is Babylon 5, it is Firefly, it is all that all rolled into one. It's a wonderful romp through science fiction, which is, still to this day my favourite genre, with a crew, a cast of characters that are all so well fleshed out and so individualised and just a joy to get to know. Like, I this game is my comfort food. You know, this galaxy that we're in, the characters that we're in, it feels like home every time I come back to play it. And I will always love this series. And it all started with this one. It was like nothing that I had ever played before. The choices, the impact, the Renegade, the Paragon, you know, just the level of interactivity with this richly detailed universe that they'd created with backstories and histories, and everything just made sense. It's nothing short of spectacular. You know, we've talked about the gameplay, we've talked about all of that. I'm not going to rehash any of that stuff because, you know, I've done enough. It's just marvelous. I would recommend anyone to play this, not just this one. Play the whole series and just play it your way. Just enjoy the ride. Just get to know it and just play around in it. Make mistakes, you know, fuck things up. You know, be a good guy, be a bastard, just and see where it takes you. That's the beauty of Mass Effect. And for similar reasons to Sam, it's not going to get a perfect 10. But I am going to give it a 9.9. Just
9.9.
It's our first ever 9.9.
It's as close as damn it to perfect. And there are things about this game that aren't present in Mass Effect 2 that I do miss. But then, conversely, there are things about Mass Effect 2 that I prefer to this one. It really is a sort of 1A and 1B situation. But, my God, what a game, what a series, and... Oh, has anybody got a smoke? Because I am spent.
Don't you Brits call those fags?
those who do, yes. That is not the slur that it sounds like. I can assure you.
I'm pretty sure everybody over on this side of the pond knows that that's a Britishism.
What is it?
There was a collective
you guys?
gasp.
Is it a dart over in Canada? That's what you call it, a dart?
Yeah, fucking darts.
But yeah, no, the Legendary Edition is 100% the way to play this game these days. And it goes on sale all the time for dead cheap. And considering...
Yeah, I think I got it for like...
Plus.
I think I got it for like $5.
And the number of hours in this game, like, that is basically paying you to play it. You know, it's...
Oh, I know. It's incredible.
Fantastic. Oh. What have we got coming up next? I should know this.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles
2, the arcade game. That's right.
The arcade
game. I've been dabbling with that. That's I'll reserve my thoughts on that one, but it is kicking my ass so far.
And you're going to play it until you beat it because you know you cannot not beat it.
I know. It's my crippling need to beat everything I play, but I don't know. It may or may not happen. I haven't gotten very far with it so far, so...
Yeah, it's not going to happen. Yeah, sure thing there,
We'll
bud.
see. Guys.
Because we all know Alan likes to give up on games.
I do. I never complete anything. I don't actually even play video games. Like, Wikipedia has been a lifesaver for this show.
Oh, YouTube, buddy. YouTube all the way.
Oh, I ain't got time to watch things. Too busy reading Wikipedia. Guys, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for letting me do this. You can officially kick me off the show now. I got what I came for.
We've covered all the games that you want. That was your end game. Was to
yeah. Is this the moment that Joe finally gets on the show?
Fine.
Tune in next time to find out the answer is no.
Please, just pretend this conversation never happened.
Hi there, everyone. We here at Retrotopia couldn't do what we do without the support of our Patreons. And to that effect, we would like to shout out the heroes at our hero tier. So a huge Retrotopia thank you from all of the hosts here to Guy Who Does Things, Joe Frigger, Shadowblaze511, Dan Tormer, Brian Heng, Sharkbite, Brian Spritzer, Ovindley, Shane's World, Brother Retro, H, Raging Demon, Old Man Gamer, Game Genius, Dylan Jacobson, The Big Deal, Mr. Blobbert Blobbertstein, King Hooley III, Kalin Hygus, Radmac, Fallen Snow Kiku, Stud Still Smash, Sergeant Ombre, Big Brown Dog, Jack Datchler, Unbuckled Cape, Wildcard, Super Dave, Sir Busts-a-Lot, Big Kid 782, David Hendley, Chris Kaplane, J Nasty 15, Because 19, Randy Berridge, Makeshift Money, and Andrew Wright. So thanks as always for your support, guys. It truly means the world to us and means we can keep doing this little thing that we love so much. Game on.